So here we are with yet another B3313 update video. This one is not to do with the game itself, but rather my videos on the game. I have made a number of videos that are already public, but I've got quite a few that are still private that I'm going to be putting out here, and I would like to explain basically the circumstances behind those just to give some further context and clear up some loose ends here. So, a few years ago, the 0.7 version of the game came out and ended up being a lot more popular than anybody really expected. I ended up playing it, did my own LP of it, had a lot of fun going through it, discovering everything and documenting it, and, you know, that came and went, and I very much enjoyed the game and was looking forward to the 1.0 release. I figured when that eventually came out, I would probably stream it, do some more documentation, you know, try to find as much stuff as I could, and then, you know, that would be kind of the end of my involvement with it. But that's not what happened, because back in March, I have it marked down as March 17th specifically, I ended up actually getting some insider access to it. So, the lead developer for the game, Chris, had watched my old LP and thought that I did a good job covering it, and basically decided that he would be interested in having me as a beta tester for it. Not necessarily for checking for bugs, but more just kind of play testing, seeing what stuff works, what doesn't, you know, how I would respond to the new areas. And so I was given a dev build. And from the very beginning, this was, I was told that this was going to have to be kept private, and so the way that I've been running my channel for quite a number of years at this point is some videos that I put up, you know, I upload my stream VODs off of Twitch, and some videos that I put up, I'll just put up, you know, straight away. But a lot of my main content is Patreon exclusive. You have to, you know, be a member of that to get access to the videos, and they'll remain exclusive for a few months, and then eventually they will go public, and the titles always reflect this. They'll say Patreon funded in them, and the amount of time that you have to wait for those, I think it started out as like 8 months, and it's kind of decreased a bit. It's currently about 5. It's never been anything too strict, but, you know, I just kind of usually do them about once a week, and I just I make them public in the order that they were recorded. So, I just finished putting up the last of the Hollow Knight videos. I still really liked how that LP came out, so if you have any interest in that game, please check it out. But that's not the point here. We've reached the point where it is time for me to actually start publicizing these, and because the game has been out for a few months, hopefully this is not causing any issues. Because the reason it was supposed to be private in the first place is because, you know, it was still a dev build. It was meant to mostly be under wraps and, you know, kept secret from the greater public that would eventually be playing it. So it was really just for me and the people who were part of my, you know, Patreon community who would be able to see it earlier, which is not really that many people. So I recorded these videos over the course of 3 months. I did 13 parts, which were each about an hour long, usually running a bit longer, like an hour 20 or so. And I also did 3 private streams of it, which were about 5 hours each. And throughout these, I kept getting more updates of the game, more and more stuff kept getting added, some bugs would get fixed, that kind of thing. And so I would be discovering new stuff, but also having to recheck the old stuff and see what was new. And partway through doing that, I started doing the documentation again, and that led to the big spreadsheet that I've shown off in my last, like, big star totals video that I did. But, you know, throughout those 3 months, what is there to say? You know, I kept going through the game and seeing what kind of stuff was, what kind of stuff was hidden in it, and there was always just new stuff popping up, and I had a fun time recording it, and I was looking forward to these videos going up eventually. The issue was that there was always a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with the game, where there was just a lot of stress over whether or not it was going to get finished, and some disagreements with the various developers. I don't claim to know all of it. There was just, you know, a lot of stuff that was going on. And eventually, in May, I was given the go-ahead to do a public stream of the most current build at that point. A couple other people also did it. Veloxis Gaming and Snooplax, I believe, were the two that I know of. There could be others. You know, they covered it, and as far as I'm aware, I'm the only one that actually had access to it earlier, so when I did my stream, I had all this knowledge from the couple months I've already been playing it. That video's been on my channel for a while. But that was May 23rd, and then just a few days later, May 29th, we got the sort of official release. And here's where version numbering gets complicated. This is the one that was initially known as the 1.0 abandoned release, and has been since referred to as the 0.9 version. And so, what do I call my LP then? Because I've been calling it the 1.0 dev build. I might still call it that. I haven't decided yet. But the videos that I've made are of a version that is not available anywhere. I do have the files, but I am not distributing them, you know, out of respect for the creator. They were only meant to be seen by me. And so when you watch these, you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff that may not necessarily be the same in the final build. There's an entire level that got scrapped, and just some doors that lead to different places and that type of stuff. You know, some tweaks to some areas. Stars move around, all that type of stuff. So I'm basically just kind of hammering that in, that those were not of the finished game, and when you watch the videos, anything you see that seems off, you're not necessarily missing anything. If it isn't there in the final version, then, you know, that's why. It's because I'm playing an older one. But anyway, like I said, the official release came out at the end of May, and it was kind of backpedaled on immediately. Basically, again, dealing with the disagreements between the various creators. There was an agreement that was sort of come to that Chris was going to take a backseat role and supervise the creation of the rest of the game without having a direct hand in it, and a few other people would be working on it themselves. And I could be getting some details wrong here, forgive me. I have not really wanted to get that involved with all the drama, but I've read a decent amount about it. Some of the people who were meant to be helping, as far as I'm aware, kind of just fucked off and said they were going to help, but then didn't. And so then, once again, with the large number of people that were whining for the game to get finished, Chris felt the pressure to work on it himself again, despite not really wanting to. There was a point where I was actually given developer status and was offered the chance to work on it myself, which I didn't really accept, but also didn't decline. I had the status and I didn't do anything with it. It was one of those things where I was somewhat interested in it, but it was going to be a big undertaking, and I had no idea where to even really begin with any of it. And so I was like, you know, if you want to show me the ropes, I'll try, but never got around to doing that. And then the final part of my LP series ended on June 16th, so a couple weeks after the game got officially released, but, you know, it was still being worked on at that point. So some more time passes. Once again, just due to stress and people on the internet being generally assholes, Chris wanted to take a break from it all, and so he, you know, just kind of went offline for a while and wasn't on the server. And to my understanding, on July 29th, the previous developers who decided that, that claimed they were going to help work on it but then didn't, came back into the server despite not being allowed there anymore. Somebody let them in, and they caused a bit of a ruckus, changed some server roles, you know, changing admin status of various people, kind of acting like they owned the place. And this was not appreciated, so they got booted out again. And then, lo and behold, 2 days later, they came up with a alleged 1.0 version of the game, and Chris said that he did not want them releasing this because he basically said that, you know, they agreed to help and then decided to go off and do their own thing, and he didn't appreciate that, and if they wanted to make anything, it was going to have to be from scratch and not containing any of his stuff. And they essentially just said, lol, fuck you, and then released it anyway. And so that has led to the version that is currently known as the 1.0 unabandoned version, which is not sanctioned by Chris, and therefore I will not be playing it. I only know my side of the story, and again, I've tried to not get that involved in the drama other than just reading some of the posts. But all I know is, you know, Chris was nice enough to give me early access to the game, and we've, you know, worked on... We've discussed stuff with it. I've helped with some bugs and stuff, and, you know, he's generally been a nice guy to me. These other people I don't really know as well, and I've seen them do things that I think was kind of a dick move, and so I'm not going to support that. If other people want to play it, I can't stop you, but I'm not going to cover it on my channel. I'm not going to document any of it in my spreadsheet, any of that type of stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, the 1.0 version was the final release, despite the unfinished star IDs and the handful of bugs that it had and the lack of a proper ending. It's the final release that I consider canon, if that's the right word to use. So, definitely not doing anything with that. Most likely not doing any other instructional videos. I did do a series of those that I enjoyed making, and they got a pretty decent number of views, a lot more than what a lot of my other videos get, so I was glad people enjoyed them. But I kind of covered the main stuff that I wanted to cover. There were a few other subjects that I decided I could potentially cover, like the endgame stuff, and I just kind of never got around to it. At this point, I'm not sure if I really need to. So, I think I'm more or less kind of done with the game now. You know, depending on my mood later, I might come back to it. I thought about doing like a all-unique Star ID speedrun or something. Definitely not promising that, because that would be a really big undertaking, but, you know, I might get in the mood for it eventually. And we just have to see what happens. I have no idea if there's any other plans for other people in the dev team to continue working on the game or start a new project up, but I know Chris is certainly done with it and just wants nothing to do with this anymore because of all the stress that it's caused. So, because, you know, all that's kind of done, and we were at the point where I was going to start releasing the videos anyway, here we are. I'm going to put them out, and usually I would just do these once per week. For this, I decided to do something a little different, just to kind of get it all out and be done with it. So I'm going to, they're going to stay mostly unlisted for now, but I will link to all the videos in the description of this one, and I'll make a playlist for them, and so people can watch all of them now if they want. And over the next, you know, few weeks or months, I will still be slowly rolling them out, maybe a little bit faster than my usual pace, in terms of making them public, just to show up in people's feeds. But that's the plan for that. And unrelated to this game, but the next series of videos that I'm doing for the Patreon stuff is a Zelda Classic quest called Ballad of a Bloodline. I've done 11 videos on that one so far, and I'm pretty overdue for some more, so I'm going to make a few of those in the next few days, hopefully. And like I said, those are still private. If you join my Patreon, you can get early access to them. If not, then they'll go up at some point. I might shorten the gap again, so I don't know if we're waiting a full 5 months. It might be a little less. We'll just have to see. But I believe that covers everything I wanted to say on this. Again, sorry about all of the complications, and part of me hates to even bring up the drama again, but it's relevant to the situation, and if it didn't say anything, people were just going to ask. So that's all I know of it. Hope you enjoy the videos. I thought they came out pretty good. I had lots of fun exploring them. And I guess that's about it.